It is an escalating crisis of misery, and children are disproportionately affected. UNICEF says young Syrian refugees are at risk of becoming a lost generation, growing up in camps like this in neighbouring Jordan. Now, to help Syria's displaced millions, the UN says it needs more than £3 billion, its biggest ever appeal.
We are asking for a massive financial support to a massive humanitarian crisis, the most dangerous humanitarian crisis of the last decades. We are witnessing the enormous suffering of the Syrian people, the physical destruction of the country, and the progressive collapse of a state.
This is why so many flee. Fierce fighting in the town of Qusair this week has left it in ruins. A recent UN report said children are witnessing acts of brutality as Syria tears itself apart. This week, fighting in the Golan Heights nudged up against Israeli territory, a sign the three-year conflict is barely contained within Syria's borders. Already some 80,000 have died. Meanwhile, life is increasingly difficult for those that survive. This footage, supplied by the UN, shows its relief work with Syrian refugees in Lebanon. The organisation admits it can barely keep up with demand.
Well, every month we're having 50,000 people crossing the border over to Lebanon, coming from Syria. And every month we are increasing our capacity to meet the needs of these people. For us, food is the highest priority for these people at the moment. We are able to cope, but it's getting more and more difficult.
Part of the problem has been countries pledging money in the past and not paying up. But the bigger problem is the continued fighting that drives people to flee. With no political solution in sight, camps like this are unlikely to shrink soon. In fact, the UN warns this latest appeal will only cover its work until the end of this year. Rajesh Merchandani, BBC News.